Everybody, and welcome to Mid-America Flight Museum North. First of all, we want to say
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everybody, and hope everybody had a great 2018, and we look forward to 2019. It's going to be fantastic. We have two of our great volunteers here today. Leroy is with us, and we're so excited. John, you're back today. John's been off sick for a couple weeks, and he's back with us, and I'm so glad you came today because Leroy and I had a little problem last week. And it's one of those days where you're never too old to learn something new. Leroy and I were going to try to install the trailing edge on our aileron that we've been working on. We have a nice new aluminum trailing edge. We needed to put the holes in for the rivets. So Leroy, you want to take it from there, talk about what was going on?
Well, when we tried to put the trailing edge on and we tried to drill the hole, we couldn't get the holes to line up as we went through it. And luckily we started with a smaller pilot drill, and we couldn't get them to match. And so while John was home, we sent the task of solving this problem to him.
And so John created this beautiful oak block with clamps and a hole to get that hole through there nice and straight. But that's not the interesting part. This it just blows my mind, John. And I want you to talk about what you've got in your hand.
Well, I have a drill, of course, with a steel rod in it in place of a drill bit. And my father was a carpenter, part-time. He learned a trade in the Army Air Force in World War II. And anyway, I followed him around on jobs as a young man, more like 10 or 12 years old. And I learned quite a few tricks from him. Now, he wasn't an educated man, but he had a lot of experience. And some of his methods were crude, to say the least, by today's standards. But they were effective. And I've seen him drill precision holes when he was doing finished carpenter work. And a lot of it was done with hand tools. But when he went to drill a hole that had to be straight and perfect in a piece of hard wood, he realized that a twist drill wasn't the appropriate tool.
Why not?
Because it has a point, and the grain in wood goes hard, soft, hard, soft.
Right.
And if you're not drilling parallel or
To the grain?
or perpendicular to the grain, the drill point will have a tendency to skew off to the side when it hits a hard spot.
Right.
So consequently, your hole won't necessarily be straight.
So what have you done here?
So what I did was just take a piece of steel rod. I started out with a 16 or a 6-penny finishing nail and just cut the head off of it.
Yeah.
With a pair of dikes. Of course, drilling the hole with that, I was limited on the depth. I needed to go farther. So what I wound up doing was using a piece of, after I got the hole started, of course, and I did this in the drill press with a vise, but I wound up using a piece of welding rod.
And you cut it with
I
dikes?
cut it with dikes, so that left a chisel point on the end.
And then you didn't knock the burr off, did you?
Did not knock the burr off. I let that burr act as an end mill.
It acts as an end mill.
Yes. And it doesn't try to slide off of the hard part of
As it's going
of a
through the
slope grain. Yes.
I'll be darned. And that's how he put, you could see this wood is probably at least 2.5 inches wide. And John used this welding rod and drilled this hole all the way through there. And it is straight as can be. And now we have it clamped, and we're using the same technique to drill through, because a regular drill would have the same effect. This trailing edge is on a slight angle. Mm-hmm. And as we're going through our block, when we hit that trailing edge, if it were a conventional drill, it'd want to drift.
It would drift. Not only that, but the flutes on the drill will eventually make this hole too large.
That's right, because this is putting a side load on the drill bit.
Yes.
So we have drilled 2 holes for our trailing edge, and they are perfect and straight as can be. As you can see, obviously we're going to have to trim down the rivet just a little bit. But John brought that in today, and I was just fascinated by it, and I couldn't believe it. And I've drilled 2 holes now with it, and it doesn't drill like a conventional drill. It takes a little longer, takes a little more pressure, but the result is an accurate straight hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
My dad taught me this when I was a little fella.
Yep.
And it stayed with me all these years too.
That, I have never heard of such a thing. Leroy, have you ever heard of
Never.
that? Never. I've never heard of drilling, especially a piece of hardwood, with just a piece of welding rod and a burr on the end of it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, that's it for Mid-America up here in Ohio. Again, we want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. So I'll pan out here when we can say, give away or thumbs up, everybody.
Yep.
Merry Christmas.
Excellent.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. All right. See you, everybody.